The ancient story of the Bible speaks of God having a moment of wonder, taking a step back and seeing that all that was made was very good. A world full of playful unity of shape and movement and colour. Good in that the playful variety of all things works together within God's heart for creation. Perhaps you've had similar moments in your own journey. Watching a magnificent sunset reflected over a calm sea, the flash of blue in the corner of your eye as a kingfisher swoops low over a stream.
The world which surrounds us is one full of wonder, wonder that the playful creativeness of science reveals in a way that perhaps human beings have never seen before, helping us to appreciate how connected the world is. Yet at the same time, while science shows us so much more than our normal vision allows, what we see and experience can leave us feeling that perhaps there's more to know of the world, of ourselves. Our technology allows us to see further, wider, deeper than people have ever seen before. Yet in our connected lives, we are less connected with creation than people were in times gone by. And while we can look deeper into the fabric of the world and further out into space, perhaps we see less and less. Those exciting wow moments of discovery limited to holidays in amazing exotic places, or watching the stunning images on our TVs and phones rather than it being woven into our everyday life. My name's Dave Gregory. I'm a church minister with a background in and a passion for God's gift of science. And in this series we want to reawaken you to the wondrous world that's around us, to help you look at it in a fresh way, at our rich, full and yet fragile world, one that gives us life and which our life is woven perhaps more than we even know, even entwined with the playfulness and the being of God. So come, join the journey, looking at our world and perhaps beyond it.
Spending time by the sea has become part of our lives. Since Victorian times, the seaside has been the place where people have travelled for holidays. In my own childhood, it was weeks spent on the east coast of England in resorts in Lincolnshire and Yorkshire, Skegness, Inglemell, Scarborough. But now perhaps many of us choose to travel further afield to warmer climes around the Mediterranean or the world.
Perhaps we've always had a fascination with the sea. We began to move from our ancestral homelands in Africa about 70,000 years ago, the last of our hominid cousins who made that journey over the last 2 million years. Following the coastlines, we spread across the world, feeding off their bounty, perhaps wondering what was over the next headland or coastal hill as we travelled around the world, spreading far and wide, exploring its wonder and beauty. Along with those early humans, have you ever sat on the shore, listening to the waves lapping up and down the beach, that sound like the very earth breathing in and out, caressing the pebbles worn smooth by gentle power? Moments that may shape you too. As you look out upon the vastness, the vast flatness towards the horizon that seems beyond our grasp, beyond our imagining, our wondering. A moment of peace as we're aligned to the rhythm of the waves, peace that lives alongside an unsettling unknowing. Personally, I've never been that confident in or on the water. My family can regale you smiling of moments of panic when the canoe or the boat we're in starts to wobble and sway as it encounters a rough wave or a bit of rough water. but even when the water's only ankle deep. The raw power of the sea is unsettling. Experienced sailors know that it needs to be treated with respect. Small changes in the wind can lead to waves rising up, swamping even the sturdiest of boats. Storms that attack the solidity of the coastline too, which have been constantly reshaped since those early human journeys. As ice ages have come and gone over the past 2 million years with the dance of the earth around the sun, so has the sea. Ice sheets gripping and laying waste to the northern continents, vast forests being replaced by permafrost wilderness, exposing new swathes of land around the coast, sea levels falling over 100 metres. New land bridges emerging that allowed people to travel from Asia to the Americas and across to Australasia, even to our own land, completing their conquest of the globe. And then slowly rising gradually over hundreds of years as the Earth's climate warmed, flooding the bountiful hunting grounds such as Doggerland in what is now the North Sea. Cultures around the world have ancient stories of life being deluged, perhaps lingering memories of those events. I wonder what stories will linger in our experience of the sea level rise caused by climate change that we and people around the world face today. Driven not this time by the slow natural cycles, but rapid rises in greenhouse gases due to our fossil fuel use, to power industry, our journey, our lives. Seas rising faster than those ancient generations experienced. A rising that eats away our coastlands, flooding land reclaimed from the sea over the past centuries, as well as islands inhabited for 1,000 years. Washing away lives and livelihoods, often of people who have contributed little to the causes of this climate change. The sea reclaims, but also exposes. The sea strips the rocks, revealing layers laid down through ages longer than human experience. Layers that are snapped, tilted and bent by even more powerful forces at work within the earth. For the solid continents float on an immense sea of plastic fluid rock, moving the continents we call our home around the Earth's surface at the speed with which our fingernails and toenails grow. Flows that bring them together during the time of the dinosaurs 100, 200 million years ago, and then moving them apart to the familiar scattered lands of the Earth today. The Earth over which we journey, along whose coastlines we travel, is not only a water world, water flowing, laughing from mountains down to the sea, joining the revelry of these ocean waves. It's a soft, fluid and playful world from the very top of the atmosphere down to its core, shaping and being shaped by lives lived on its surface. The sea is peace. It can also be fear, but it's also play. The sea is a playful place in the vast variety of its shapes, constantly shaped by wind. No two waves are the same, an ever-changing colour, shimmering with the deep blue of the reflected cloudless skies, dancing with the shadows of clouds moving overhead, or the flat greyness of a cloudy sky, not so enticing when you want to go for a swim. Humans love to play by the sea, splashing and jumping the waves, boarding and sailing across its surface, or sending smooth flat pebbles bouncing across it, swimming and diving into its depths, building castles and boats on the sand and sand walls, hopelessly trying to keep the tide at bay. Along with other humans, life plays too. Coasts are habitats full of life, the wide mudflaps of estuaries, service stations for migrating birds guided by the natural GPS of the Earth's magnetic field flowing from deep within its hot metallic core. While rock pools, swept by the tides twice a day, give home to life that appears strange to us, anemones and shellfish, crabs and almost invisible shrimps hiding among the seaweed. And a menagerie of life, even stranger than those imagined
by astrobiologists of life on alien worlds, or by the scriptwriters of Star Wars. But the sea is the womb of life. How chemistry came to become life is still a mystery that science is trying to tease out. Emerging 3 billion years ago, simple at first, yet slowly its playfulness in fits and starts brought more complex creatures to be. And after its long gestation in the womb of the sea, it ventured on to land in Earth's middle age about 500 million years ago. In estuaries, rock pools and beaches, caressed by the sweep of playful tides twice a day, the play of life went on. Much of that playfulness is long gone, but if rocks are torn away and exposed by the ebb and flow of the tide and storms, glimpses of it can still be found. Once on a holiday as a family, we went fossil hunting in a lagoon behind Chesil Beach, just along the coast from here in Dorset. Among what seemed to be the pebbles worn smooth and the discarded shells, ancient wonders were to be found. Shells of long extinct animals, clams, snails, worm casts frozen into rocks that were once soft mud under ancient seas. Picking one up and holding it in your hand, you touch a long disappeared world over which perhaps God was silent as he revelled in its playful goodness. In the Bible's story of creation, the first human is invited to join in God's creative play as he names the animals, a game science continues today, yet one that seems to be never ending, for scientists have only named about 1/10 of all the life that we find in the oceans. From the microscopic viruses in the hundreds of thousands within a single drop of water, to bacteria and single-celled animals which make 70% of the mass of life within the ocean. They're the foundation of the food chain on which more complex and larger animals, up to the biggest in the world, the blue whale, depend. From the shallow waters where sunlight plays, where life in all its joy, shape and colour dance embrace within the flows of the ocean currents, to the dark, deepest depths of the ocean floor, where the rhythm of life slows in the cold, poorly oxygenated waters. Beyond the counting and naming of science, playful creativity is found beyond our imagining. The sea is peace, the sea is fear, its play and its life. As with our ancestors along the coasts and across the lands and into the sky, life's playful dance has filled every niche of our world, amazing and wondrous to behold. A full community of life which we too play our part. Life dependent still upon the seas and on the coastlands. It takes a unity of our senses to experience the fullness of the sea, sight and hearing for sure as we look out over the waves, the slippier feel of water through our fingers and its salty, unpalatable taste on our lips. But have you ever smelt the sea? That unique, salty smell as you walk across the sands or stumble across the pebbles. Rocks eroded by the sea feed the oceans with nutrients, enabling plankton and ocean plants to thrive. They produce a chemical, DMS or dimethyl sulfide. That's the smell of the seaside. Along with salt particles lifted into the air by the waves, DMS allows water vapour in the atmosphere to condense into droplets forming clouds, shielding the earth from the powerful rays of the sun, reflecting its light back into space, a natural sun shield stabilising the climate of our home. The oceans cool the earth in other ways too. Their vast expanse traps and stores much of the heat that the sun gives to the earth. The top few meters of the ocean store more heat than the whole of the earth's atmosphere. Slow, unstoppable highways of water move that heat from the equator towards the pole, moderating the climates of the mid-latitudes where many of us live. The earth has warmed just over 1 degree centigrade, caused by the rise of atmospheric carbon dioxide over the past 200 years. Half of those greenhouse gases that we've added to the Earth's unified system of land and sea, ice and air and life has been taken up by the oceans. Oceans become more acidic due to the dissolved carbon dioxide, making shells of mollusks and other creatures thinner and more fragile. Warmer seas put stress upon the beautiful corals, home to wondrous communities of life around the world, and weakening the protective barrier around low-lying islands and coastlands. Sea levels rise as oceans warm, while they feed energy into stronger storms, eating further away at the coasts and people who live there. We've come a long way since our ancestors began their journey across the world, following the coasts. A journey that shaped us, a journey that now shapes the paths we once trod. Science enables us to get a glimpse of the goodness of our world, to see the wonder of the seas with fresh eyes, the rich playfulness and diverse artistry which shapes the coastlands. Sea, land and life together, allowing the journey to go on, calling us to gratitude. Yet science too makes us aware of how out of step our journey has become with that of creation, calling us to understand our place and play our part in its continuing for the future. Some went out to the sea in ships. They were merchants on the mighty waters. They saw the works of the Lord, his wonderful deeds in the deep. So say the ancient words of a song. Perhaps people have always been drawn to the sea, a place of separation, of tranquility, awe and wonder. Places of uncertainty too, and fluidity. The creation story of the Bible describes God gathering the sea into one place so that dry land appears. Solidity speaking of the certainty of God, contrasting the slip through your finger fluidity of the sea. And while after the story of the flood God promised Noah that never again will the sea rise up to engulf the land, the separation is never complete. For the sea's powerful hands claw away at rocks of mountains and cliffs, exposing rock layers laid down through eons of time at the bottom of ancient oceans. The sea reveals rock's fluidity, its layers twisted and broken, lifted up and tilted down by tectonic forces that shape the earth. Coasts reveal unstoppable power, power that exposes human frailty in the face of divine majesty and might. Yet there's joyful playfulness too, in the sweeping tides of the sea's fingers that caress the land, ebbing and flowing twice daily, responding to the dance of earth, sun and moon, gravity pulling land and sea together. In the playful in-between world of the tides, life emerged from the oceans, plant then animal, as divine playfulness shaped the community of life through evolution's game. Uncertainty in an uncertain place, bringing new possibilities, expressing God's life-giving breath in myriads of created forms, even complete alien worlds of rock pools, anemones and whelks, and mussels, crabs, shrimps, limpets, living within the playful uncertainty daily. As seas caress, claw at the land, life-giving nutrients laid down in ancient oceans are returned. Land feeds the sea, enabling flourishing of life in hidden abundance, which only now our scientific explorations are beginning to reveal. An invitation to appreciate the joyful diversity of God's creative handiwork. Coasts are playful places. We're drawn to play on their beaches and walk along their magnificent headlands and cliffs, to peer into countless rock pools. They draw us, they cause fear in us. And in between the two, they invite us. It was on the coast that Jesus invited fisher folk Peter, Andrew, James and John to leave their boats and their nets to become fishers of people. And in bewildering times following Jesus' death and rumours of an empty tomb, he met them on a beach to renew the invitation to walk within the purposes of God. They made a living from the sea's fruitful abundance, yet they knew the fragility of empty nets and life. In our day, the sea's abundance is ravaged by overfishing, from pollution, as fertiliser is washed from land to sea, causing algae to bloom, depleting oxygen levels, leading to the desertification of the oceans and the death of life. Plastic litters our beaches, floats on sea surfaces. It's found even its deepest depths, infecting the food chain. And as the earth warms, due to rising levels of human-released carbon dioxide, the seas are lifted up, fertile lands and livelihoods are poisoned by salt or washed away entirely. In such an age as this, as we walk by the sea and Jesus meets us there, what's his invitation in our bewilderment to share in the purposes of God?